Okay, so we're now into our second case of personality copying and switching to help us think about cases of personal identity and where does our what are we? Where does our personal identity go? So again, you've been kidnapped by an evil scientist, but this time the evil scientist does the evil scientist have other kidnappees? Who knows? But what happens? The evil scientist says is, "I'm gonna torture you." That's an unattractive prospect. We don't want that. The evil scientist says, "Well, look, I'm not that evil. I'll make it up to you. I'm going to give you amnesia first." Well, is this better? I'm like, no, right? Not only am I going to be tortured, but first I'm going to get amnesia. That doesn't sound very good. So then the evil scientist says, "Well, look, I'll make that up to you too. I'm going to give you a new personality. I'm going to, I have this brain scanning copying technology, and I'm going to stick a new personality into your body." This doesn't sound, you haven't made things better by doing that, right? How do you know? This is awful, right? First I was kidnapped, and then now you're telling me what's going to happen is, first I'm going to lose my memories, then you're going to put new false memories in me, and then you're going to torture me. Well, that all sounds perfectly terrible. You're doing 3 terrible things to me. Wait, you're doing 3 terrible things to me. So 3 things happen to me. I lose my memories, I get new memories, false memories, and I get tortured. But focus on the first 2. Those things happen to me. Well, that means that I survived a personality replacement. I survived a very radical change in personality. That can't happen on the personality theory. It's too big of a change, right? The personality theory says, okay, either for X and Y to be the same person, they have to have exactly the same personality, which I don't have, or they have to be very similar, which I don't have before and after, or there have to be a bunch of intermediate stages that are each very similar to each other, but that lead from the one personality to the other. Well, that doesn't happen either, right? It's a very huge jump in a short period of time from one personality to another. So the personality theory says, if this happened to you, you wouldn't survive. But the way we just described it, and the way it seems plausible, is, no, I do survive, and it's terrible, right? Because what happens? Here I am. I get anesthetized. I go through this, put under. I'm unconscious for a while. I wake up, and I don't know what's happened, but I have all these bizarre beliefs that I don't know they're bizarre for me to have, but they are. And then I start getting tortured. Like, I don't want that to happen. And I don't want the torture to happen to me. I don't care what I believe when I wake up. I don't want to be tortured. So to make sense of that thought, what's going on? Well, you're your body, right? I think, okay, more specifically, you are your brain, and that's what personal identity goes with. And that's why it's the same person through these changes. And that's why when I think about, oh, yeah, it's going to be me that's being tortured when I wake up, even though I'm going to have a bunch of weird beliefs. So why do I think it's me? I imagine, okay, I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to have a bunch of weird beliefs. I'm not going to remember who I am, and I'm going to experience a bunch of pain. And why do I think it's me? Because all those events are going to have effects on my brain. Right, the brain that houses my current personality, and the brain that will be me, and that will house my altered personality after the mad scientist does his amnesia and personality installation. So the reason I would think it was me, again, is because it's my brain that is here now and that is later going to be subjected to torture. Right? That's why I think it's me later on. Okay, so I find that this fairly persuasive. Like, the fact that you've changed the beliefs that I have about myself. Well, that's even right. I mean, that's what's happened, right? You've changed the beliefs I have about myself. I'm the one that's going to be there. It's just that I'm going to have different beliefs. I find that intuition deeply plausible. Yeah. So I'm inclined to think that the body theory is correct. But now we have a problem, right? We've said contradictory things about the two cases, or at least you may have found these two different intuitions fairly plausible, that given the first case that I described, you think, oh yeah, I think I do get pushed over into the other body when the personality switch happens, and there you've gone with the personality theory. But here I've tried to say, oh no, the body theory is correct, and you go where your body goes. But actually, these aren't even two cases. These are just the same case, just described in slightly different ways, right? The second case that I just gave you is just a redescription of part of the first case. It's what happens to your body. In the first case, right? What happens to your body is you're kidnapped. That body is then has its memory wiped, and then it has a new personality installed in it. And it happens that the personality that was originally installed in the first body gets put in the second body. I just left that part out this time. That's the difference. So, in fact, we don't even have contradictory sort of conclusions from two different cases. We have contradictory conclusions about the very same case, right? We want to know where do I go? So as I said, I find the body view persuasive. What I think is that the other body, the yellow body, would have my memories and would think, at least for a little while, it was me, but it wouldn't be me. The memories it have would be memories of something that happened, but not memories of something that happened to it. But maybe you don't find that description so plausible. You think, well, no, I think maybe you do go with your personality. So in the last video in this unit, we're going to look at one more case that is definitely, no doubt about it, a problem for the personality theory. And we'll see in the next unit that the brain or body theory has some similar issues, but in the last video in this unit, we're going to see a case that's clearly a problem for the personality theory.